Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexel.
Gentlemen, behold, corn!
Oh, well, hey. You know, this is pretty nice. Yeah, and I am kind of hungry.
Good! Then let the mating begin!
Take a chance to make it all the way. Take a chance, forgetting yesterday. Take a breath, my heart will lead the way. Take a chance, I'll take a chance today.
Welcome back, you number hunters, I guess, to the finale of the first part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexel. More on what that means next time, but for now, I got nothing. Usually I'm like, oh boy, let's see how this shit keeps getting worse as these Yu-Gi-Ohs go on, but so far Zexel's fine. There's nothing really bad I can say about it. I mean, you can tell they are kind of making this stuff up as they go along like usual. But the main difference is, more so than other series, this feels a bit more cohesive. I didn't know the past pattern of Yu-Gi-Oh! Writers and how they make these shows. I think everything happening was decided from the start. Until we get to this part, the finale of the World Duel Carnival. Because you see, it was when I got to this point where I was like, oh, they're not just making this up. They straight up forget stuff. It's crazy. There are straight up moments in this part of the show where if you've been paying attention for the past 50-something episodes, you're gonna go, did they literally forget that they wrote this? I don't know if it was a mistranslation with the dub or this is how it was written, but you're gonna feel like the writers had amnesia during certain points. And it's kind of weird because as a fan of comics, it is a little annoying seeing them disregard continuity and things that they established previously. But also as a comics fan, I see them do that all the time, so whatever. Let's get into it. As it seems Yuma got over all that Trey stuff pretty easily, because he's excited to be in the finals now, even getting an invite to a party to kick it off. Trey's still not doing well though, and seeing his brother in bad shape, Quattro wants power like Trey got so he can go against the original number. But Vetrix says he wants results, and someone who can get them, and that's why he gave a number to Shark and wanted him in the finals. He's got plans for him and not for his lame son. We also see Kite, who's going through it as the photons are really eating away at his body. The Number Club are doing fine though, heading to the finals kickoff party. But Yuma forgot his invitation, of course, so Flip convinces them all to sneak in, and they get caught. But luckily Nistro is there and vouches for the Rugrats. At the party, we see several duelists who we will never see, so they don't matter, except one team of duelists called the Triad of Terror. Ooh, scary. Yuma manages to spot Kite with Quentin as Kite confronts him, asking why he'd do this to his former pupil.
Now, Kite, this isn't like you.
Don't you have any loyalty to your former pupils? How could you let anything happen to my brother Hart?
And this was the first part where I was like, what? Because you see, back when Kite originally met Quentin when they rescue Hart, he says this.
Who are you? What did you want with my little brother?
That's a simple question with a very complex answer.
Yet here they're clearly hinting at the fact that they do know each other, despite the fact that back then they hinted at the fact that he didn't. Now again, that could have been a mistranslation, I have no idea. But at this point I did start paying more attention to what the characters were saying because I was like, wait, that's not right. Anyways, Quentin tells Kite that he just does what Vetrix says, and he will meet who that is in the finals. Kite is brooding to himself like he does when Dextro approaches him, saying she knows about his condition and she's worried about him, and Hart, and wants to help. But he's adamant because Quentin and Vetrix, who hurt his brother, are in the finals, so nothing's gonna stop him from getting some vengeance. Finally, Heartland tries to give a big speech to start the finals, but Vetrix shows up, making himself known for the first time and making sure everyone sees him. What's more, he looks directly at Astral before disappearing. Then thanks to Flip and shenanigans, the Number Club start a riot and run for it. But Yuma sees Kite outside and he asks how Hart is doing. But Kite ignores him, saying he should worry about facing him in the finals. And he's talking to Astral, not Yuma, when he says this. At the end of the night, we see Vetrix in a limo talking to Team Catastrophe, who he's hired with one mission: target Yuma Tsukumo. And the next day, the finals begin, with Yuma waking up to his friends. Outside. He camped out to make sure he didn't oversleep. Well, that's a strategy. And he heads into the stadium with the other 23 finalists, who we need to whittle down. Who is that? You design a baddie like that, and you just have her appear on screen for half a second? This show sucks. Where's Tori's mom? Well, at least there's Dextro, but she could be 9 or 1,000. There's no in-between with anime. Other finalists that matter, besides Dextro, of course, are Yuma, Kite, Shark, Nistro, Quentin, Quattro, and Vetrix. And if you're pretty good at counting, you've probably already figured out who the top 8 of this tournament is going to be. Anything can happen, I guess, as we begin the match to determine the top 8, which has them all get on roller coasters, okay. And the start key is their heart containers. So after the opening ceremonies, everyone gets in their cart and takes off. So I guess I'll explain the rule. Oh wait, someone didn't take off. Who'd be dumb enough to... of course. Yes, Yuma, in his brilliance to not oversleep by camping out, forgot his heart piece at his house. Luckily, Lilybot found it, so Kari, with the help of the number club, do a kinda cool sequence actually, showing their individual talents to get the heart piece to Yuma. Aw yeah, friendship. But at the end, when Tori tries to give it to Yuma, she trips and ends up in the coaster with him. As it takes off, she's along for the ride now. Because of course she is, these two are practically married. Happens younger every year, I swear. So this coaster thing isn't that dumb compared to other tournaments. It's unnecessary, but straightforward. It's a duel battle royale. You duel anyone you see on the same or adjacent track. Lose, you're out, but you keep your life points between duels. And they carry over into the top 8 matches. Also, there are cards along the track that can help or hinder you, like Mario Kart items. You see the ones that matter all getting into it with different duelists, but Yuma is immediately attacked by the Triad of Terror, who all team up on him 3-on-1. Luckily for him, Nistro shows up to help, along with...
Hey, who are you? Someone who's gonna help you even the odds up. Ah! Long time no see, Yuma.
No way, it can't be.
It's Anna.
Aw yeah, baby, the best character is back. Play a stupid fucking vehicle.
I play Express Train Trolley Ollie in defense mode.
Yes! Also, you might be wondering how she's here if she wasn't in the tournament.
She found someone who was, tied him up so they couldn't escape, and then pretended to be him?
Gee, Anna, that's kind of extreme. Oh yeah? Well, so what?
God, I love her. Unfortunately, because she helps Yuma, she gets hit by a direct attack, which knocks her out of the tournament. And the show again for quite some time. Life sucks. What the fuck? They all beat the Triad of Terror, and Nistro heads off on his own, determined to face Yuma later. As the remaining duelists head into the tunnel, as now speed is sort of a factor with there being 4 duel fields. And if you do the math, the first 2 to show up will duel, the 4 winners will make up the top 4. And coincidentally, everyone has it out for someone. Shark and Quattro are ready to rumble, Kite's going for Quentin or Vectrix. Vectrix doesn't care who his opponent is, but we see Dextra is targeting Vectrix for some reason, even making sure she's picking cards to raise her life points way past the starting life total. Seems like she's got a plan. Finally, Nistro wants to duel Yuma, and Yuma's doing fantastic, because his life points are super low after his duel with the Triad, and he keeps running into trap cards on the course that are taking away more life points. Wait, what's the opposite of good? We do briefly see Quentin duel Nistro, and Quentin almost wins until their paths diverge. That's the only thing interesting that happens. Kite, meanwhile, had Orbital 7 monitor Vectrix while he chases Quentin, and Orbital reports Vectrix's path is being manipulated because someone is leaving traps that all have the word butterfly in their name in his way. Kite, of course, determines Dextra is doing this and catches up with her, and she says she's only doing this because Vectrix opposes Heartland, so she wants to stop him. And she uses another trap card to get Kite to change tracks, leaving her and Vectrix on the same course. But when alone, we hear her monologue that she's doing this to help Kite, and that she led Vectrix to the jungle field, which should give her an advantage. When she arrives, Vectrix waiting for her, not surprised it was her leaving those traps, but is intrigued on why she wants to duel him so badly, as the two begin the first duel of the top 8. Heartland explains to the crowd each field is like a field spell, they all have their own individual effects. But the feed coincidentally cuts out, because Heartland, while not ordering Dextra to do so, wants Vectrix to, Shadow Realm and all that. At the duel, Dextra declares she won't let Vectrix near Kite, and Vectrix mocks her, saying, "Oh, you really care about him that much?" And she responds, yeah, she loves him?
This isn't just some schoolgirl crush. You seem like you're willing to sacrifice everything for him. He's really got a special place in your heart, doesn't he?
Wait, I was kidding earlier, but how old is Dextra? Because Kite is definitely a teenager, and she doesn't look like it. I've stared at her long enough to know that. Well, Dextra's not fucking around. Not only does she immediately Xyz summon, Vectrix notes she has 8,000 life points, the normal total in real life, but here that's a big deal. And we see why during her first turn. She knew that the Jungle Field's effect is that if a player does not summon or set a monster, they take 1,000 points of damage. She then activates 3 continuous spells, Butterfly Charm, which makes all of Vectrix's monsters attack each turn, and ones that don't get destroyed. Elimigate, that negates monster attacks and destroys them as long as she has an assassin on the field. Finally, Butterfly Swarm, that inflicts 1,500 points of damage to the controller of a monster that was destroyed. But she has to pay 2,000 life points every turn to use it. She has Vectrex in an unbreakable combo. If he summons a monster, it's destroyed and he takes damage. If he doesn't, he takes damage. What a gamer. In fact, I think with this duel, Dextra is probably the best female duelist in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, we haven't seen the outcome yet, but the fact that she planned all of this and executed it pretty well too, better than anything Alexis did. She's not even the main waifu. But she wants to be Kite's waifu, as we see in a flashback that she likes Kite. Likes him. Because once when him, and Nishro were training to become number hunters, the training bot accidentally, wink wink, went haywire, and he saved her. But he of course acts like a cool guy, says it was nothing, whatever. She then sees him with Heart and finds out his whole backstory, which is what got her, I guess. Why can't the ladies ever fall for grown light-skinned black men who watch children card game anime? After the flashback, Yuma and Tori show up. Yeah, they got lost, and spoilers, will show up to each other duel in the finals to provide commentary for some reason. Vectrex is happy Yuma and Astral are here and relays Dextra's unbreakable combo to them. They're impressed, but Vectrex is not too concerned, saying he'll win anyway, and simply sets a monster and one other card. But Dextra's combo kicks off on her turn and gets rid of his heraldic monster, and plays it safe knowing she will win on her next turn. And on his next turn, Vectrex acts defeated, even attacking with his monster, knocking him to 100 life points. Dextra's about to win, until he gets back up saying he's about to go to Combo Town. And Xyz summons with monsters in his graveyard, allowing him to summon his number card.
2 monsters, I build the overlay network, and Xyz summon number 8, Heraldic King Genome Heritage!
Welcome to the beginning of the end!
Which has the ability to steal a monster's name, taking her card, which makes her own card work against her. This is why I don't describe duels, I'm terrible at it. What's more, Vectrex decides to steal her memories? Okay. However, remembering Kite has her perform one last action to make the duel a draw, but Vectrex is a villain, so of course he has the most evil, most diabolical card you could have in Yu-Gi-Oh! A card that has the word negate on it. So yeah, Dextra loses, and Vectrex, to be a dick, womans her, stealing her memories, making her a potato. Yuma grabs her, shocked that Vectrex is evil, as he disappears, saying he'll defeat Yuma next. Okay, look, I know she got mind-wiped and lost, hasn't technically won an on-screen duel yet. I still stand by she's one of the better female duelists in the show based on strategy alone. I mean, it's not like you can prepare for negates all the time in mid-2010, it was pretty new at the time. And not really a continuity thing, but it is kind of weird that this crush on Kite just kind of comes out of nowhere. She's never really shown that well. She was kind of nice to him in the past, but I don't know, I always assumed they were going to put her and Nistro together, at least they seem close. I mean, that's fine if they're friends, I'm cool with that, but this one's a more minor one, it doesn't really matter, but again, it was a time where I'm like, where did this come from? Alright, what about the one she was doing it for? Kite caught up with Quentin on the space field, and weirdly calls him Chris?
You won't escape from me, Chris, or Quentin, or whatever you call yourself now.
Meanwhile, Yuma and Tori are back on the coaster, Yuma trying to find his opponent. When Orbital 7 crashes on them, trying to desperately find Kite for some reason, Yuma tells him to take them to Kite because he wants to tell him about Dextra. At the duel, Quentin summons his own number card.
I overlay my level 9 Pathfinder and Windjammer in order to build the overlay network. I summon number 9, Dyson Sphere.
Where is your number, Quentin?
Oh, I guess the AR technology glitched or whatever. Yuma and crew show up, and he tells Kite about Dextra, and Kite is like, eh, who cares? You know, Kite, there's only so much of a dick you can be before it stops being charming. You're no Seto Kaiba, relax. But Quentin's happy Yuma's here, saying all 3 of them are gathered must be fate. He then begins to exposit. Buckle up, kids. We're about to hear some shit. Cause even Kite takes interest when Quentin says he's about to explain all. Who Vectrex is, why him and his brothers work for him, why they took Heart, what happened to Yuma's dad, and about Kite's dad, Dr. Faker.
And why we targeted Kite and his brother Heart.
The answer is that they are linked to our real enemy. We seek revenge against their father, Dr. Faker.
Okay, so 5 years ago, Faker, Kazuma, and Quentin's father, Byron Arclight, were all doing research on opening doors to other worlds. Faker seems really adamant to find this, not explaining why, but says it's not for money or fame. After sciencey technobabble, they pinpointed the location of one of these doors, and when Byron left on the expedition to the door, that was the last time Quentin saw him, as it was also Kazuma's last expedition. and his wife, I guess. We've still forgotten about her. What the fuck happened to her? Are we ever going to know about that? But despite being the day both Byron and Kazuma disappeared, Quentin does say he heard this from his father afterwards, which is interesting. And he says that Faker was not completely honest, because they find the door, but to open it, it requires 2 sacrifices. It's at least a level 7. And luckily he's got 2 healthy souls in Byron and Kazuma. And yep, he sacrificed them to activate this door. Back in the present, Astral contradicts me, saying it's more like an Xyz summoning. I guess. Attributing makes more sense. But if his dad was sacrificed like Kazuma, how did he tell Quentin about this? Well, that's because one day Byron did return, changed, grown mad, consumed by revenge for what Faker did. Even changing his name to make sure Faker didn't know he returned. And now goes by Vectrex. After all that, Kite says, who cares, never liked Faker anyway, I'll take him down along with everyone here as they continue their duel. Where we finally see Quentin's number. That's no moon.
It's so huge. How could any monster destroy it? It seems impossible.
That's because it is impossible. No one has ever defeated Dyson Sphere in battle, and no one ever will!
And unfortunately, photon dragons aren't enough to beat a planet, and Quentin says nothing Kite can do will work. After all, he taught him how to duel. Jeez, every episode trying to have a twist, it's getting hard to keep up. Oh, by the way, I know you like him so much, so I got you another flashback. After Dad left, Quentin, known as Chris at the time, I'll get to that, started working for Faker's facility to find out what happened to his father. That's when he met Kite and Heart, and Kite wanted to become stronger, and seeing the brotherly bond being an Onishan himself, Chris decided to teach him. But when Vectrex came back and told Chris everything, he left Faker's facility, not telling Kite why, and now we're here. So yeah, Quentin and Quattro and Trey as well, they don't say them in the dub, all have old names. They changed them in the future, I guess, to make sure Faker didn't know it was them. And again, it's weird because if you remember, Trey had a dramatic flashback to their childhood a couple episodes ago, and they all refer to each other as Quentin, Trey, and Quattro. Their new names, so I don't know why them as the children are doing that.
Oh, Quattro, I almost forgot to show you. Had a promise?
Sure.
Thanks, Quentin.
It's also such a weird thing too, like what's with the name changes? Vectrex makes sense to make sure Faker didn't know it was him. But, like, did he really care about his kids? Does he really know? Even so, what does it matter? Wouldn't it make more sense to announce that it's them, too? I don't know, it's all. I think the name change thing is really stupid, honestly. It didn't need to be a thing. Maybe for Vectrex, that's fine, but the rest of them, why? What's the point? Back to the duel anyway, it's looking bad for Kite, but Yuma cheers him on, reminding him if he falls here, what would happen to Heart? Quentin is surprised Yuma is rooting for the spawn of the man that killed his father. Wait, actually, who is Kite and Heart's mom? Huh. I doubt we're ever going to find out, but I'd really like to meet the woman who found that attractive enough to bone it. Anyway, Yuma says because they're friends, because they dueled. Whether that or thinking of Heart, Kite gets back up, and Heart of the cards and one complicated combo later, Kite wins. Oh yeah, I never explained the space field. It's way lamer than the jungle one. You draw a card when you Xyz summon, that's it. Kite is a little bitter about winning since the card he used was given to him by his dad, but confronts Quentin, who he calls by his full name, Christopher Arclight. And Chris expresses how he couldn't save his father since he's so consumed by revenge. But Kite says once Heart is safe, he intends to settle things with every deadbeat dad. So Chris leaves, saying he will always consider Kite and Heart to also be his brothers, leaving behind the number for him to take. We then see Quentin, Chris, whoever, lying next to Trey, also falling into a deep sleep as his crest vanishes. Hey wait, what the fuck are these crest powers too? They don't really explain that. Well, they kinda do, but whatever, I'm not gonna point out everything. Yuma tells Kite to wait for him in the finals where they'll meet, and Kite just leaves with Orbital. Astral then remarks that since Yuma's dad is also alive on Astral World, he must have sent Astral here to defeat Faker and Vectrex. Who knows, man, with all these twists, Astral is probably gonna be Cosmo or something. Let's catch up with Shark, caught up with Quattro at the magma field, and they immediately begin their duel. They're not fucking around. Also, Yuma, Tori, and Astral show up to watch, of course. And Vectrex, in a hologram, telepathic ghost thing, he's here but not really here. Now, this duel would have been interesting because Shark is at a disadvantage here as the magma field automatically destroys water monsters, but he immediately just plays a card to counter it, so it doesn't matter. Way to not make the duel interesting. Allowing Shark to summon number 32 again. This is the first time Quattro has seen Shark with a number, and Vectrex appears in front of him, saying he didn't tell him because he knew he'd ruin it somehow. Because he made sure his sons had certain roles, and Quattro's is to get Shark to submit to the darkness of the number card. This includes what he did to him at the finals, and hurting Shark's sister. Yes, this was all orchestrated from the beginning by Vectrex to lead to this moment. I totally believe he came up with this really long and complicated plan that needed so many factors and moving parts to align perfectly to even get to this point. I mean, it was all planned for the beginning, like what happened with Yuma's mom. So with the secret out, Vectrix appears in front of everyone and explains he wants to use Shark to get his revenge on Dr. Faker. Quattro asks why not use any of your sons, and Daddy just says, Shark's better. Sad he doesn't have Dad's love after some cards, Quattro keeps attacking Shark over and over to prove he's better, with Yuma trying to get them to stop, but Vectrix won't let him interfere in this duel. It also tries to get Yuma to hate him because of the things he did, using his sons and all that. Oh, also Dextra, I guess we kind of forgot about her too. Shark, after taking that beating, almost succumbs to the number, but continues to resist, angering Quattro even more as this continues. With Vectrix popping in saying this is why he didn't trust Quattro with this stuff, he's too impulsive and never acts calmly, because he uses a card that hinges the duel on a game of chance. Quattro then comments that Byron was never like this before. Ever since he came back as Vectrix, he's been a cold, unfeeling child hell-bent on revenge.
You think you're the only one I don't have faith in? Think again! Your brothers are just as useless! I'd sooner believe in 3 baboons! I can rely on you 3 for one thing, to constantly deliver disappointment!
Quattro goes off, saying he'll beat Shark and Faker himself, because then Vectrix will go back to the father he knew, because he's the Intercontinental Dueling Champ. Wait, that was the other guy. And his luck doesn't pay off, because the card he used doesn't win him the duel, like Vectrix predicted. But he does summon a new number card that will win him the duel automatically.
My real ace in the hole! Now arise, number 88! Give it puppet of Leo!
Shark, realizing there's nothing he can do to win, unfortunately falls into Vectrix's evil whispers of revenge and avenging his sister, as Shark finally gives in to the number and summons a monster in a way that shouldn't be possible for him.
Shark Drake, the time has come! Let us unite so that we can merge and evolve! Go Chaos exceeds evolution! Pure Chaos number 32! Shark Drake Vice!
Yeah, Shark, a regular guy with no alien key thing, summoned a Chaos number. Something, as we've seen so far, only Yuma and Astral should be able to do. Remember that. It is actually important. Not in this arc, again, it's like 2-3 videos from now. With this, Shark does win the duel, but is not completely gone yet, because as Vectrix congratulates him, Shark says he only got this power to take him down. Vectrix vanishes after taunting Yuma some more, since he's the only important player not in the finals yet. And then Quattro gets back up and apologizes to Shark for what he's done. He doesn't buy it, but Quattro says Vectrix ordered him to duel Shark's sister, and used a card that was so strong it set a fire to a large area, and it hurt her. He didn't know that at the time, he was just doing what his dad said. So after that, he was the one that saved her from the flames, realizing what Vectrix made him do. And he disappears, asking Shark to beat Vectrix to save his father. Yuma tries to stop Shark, but he's determined to get revenge on Vectrix for hurting his sister. Yuma's upset that everyone in this tournament is dueling for the wrong reasons and not for bonds and fun like he is. But he still has a duel to win of his own, as he arrives at the desert field where Nistro is waiting for him. Okay, good, Yuma, you can tell him about Dextra. That she's in trouble because they're close, like really close friends, and they have been since children in a scene we don't see because it's cut from the dub for some reason. You should tell him what happened to her. No, we're just not going to tell him. His friend is a potato. Okay, sure. This duel also blue-balled me. I thought it would be interesting because remember, Yuma has been running into traps that reduce his life points. So much so, he only has 100 left, while Nistro has a full 4,000. And the Desert Field's effect is when you summon a monster in attack position or attack, you lose 200 life points. So I was interested. I was like, okay, how's Yuma gonna win this duel? That's some pretty neat stakes. But Nistro wants a fair fight, so he uses a card to make Yuma's life points 4,000 again. Like, why would you do that? You guys are making the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. You could just make up a fucking bullshit card to get him out of the situation. It's fine. The one thing that would have made this duel interesting is taken away. Again. It seems to keep happening. The only thing that happens here after that is Yuma does not duel like himself, being more cautious, setting things in defense, playing more lame, because after witnessing all the other duels, he realizes there's a lot at stake here and he's not taking risks. But realizes partway through that Nistro is dueling with all his might. He can't duel scared if he wants to save everyone and beat Vectrix. So after dropping off Tori, he starts dueling like himself, and the two start slugging it out, attacking each other every turn. Until one final showdown happens that gives Yuma the dub. And Nistro, frustrated, is not sad, because Yuma gave him an epic duel, even giving him his non-number Xyz monster as a sign of respect. Cool, you gonna tell him about Dextra now? No, instead we're gonna forget about Tori too. It's hard being a woman in these streets. Later, to celebrate Yuma's entrance to the finals, all the number jobbers have a party at his place. But uh-oh, Yuma has somehow lost his entire deck. It's fine though, the reason he lost it isn't just stupid, it's for plot convenience, because they all try to get back into Heartland Land, which is the big walled off area. If you haven't noticed having the name Heartland, he uses it as a pun for many places in the city, also named after him, very often. It's very confusing, I don't like it. Realizing they can't get in, Yuma and Bronk decide to sneak in by getting collected by the trash bots to be brought in through the garbage dump. Kathy wants to go with Yuma because of course Tori was going to go, and they have a catfight sort of about who gets to go, which did lead to a moment I thought was funny.
Yeah! Paper covers rock! I'm going in the trash can! Oh, yeah.
But then Bronk ruins it by saying epic fail unironically.
Oh, epic fail!
Meanwhile, I guess it's happening to everyone. A shark gets womaned, because Vectrix finds him and using his vague crest powers allows him to take full control of Shark. Back with Yuma and co, they make it to the garbage dump, unbeknownst to them, the same one Heart was in when dumping garbage on Astral World. And Astral senses Heart, I guess, saying he's above them, and Yuma wants to go see him. So Bronk and Tori distract a robot that has them do an Xyz summon test, don't worry about it, and Yuma and Astral make it to Heart's room, and Heart is still unconscious, but then a strange light appears, taking Yuma and Astral to Dreamland, where we see Heart, who's all normal and stuff, and asks Yuma to save his brother, because all that photon energy is dangerous, it's hurting him, and he doesn't have much longer. Then they get sent back. Yuma is still not entirely sure on what to do, since his goal of getting numbers will inadvertently doom Heart. But no time to think about that, as Dr. Faker shows up on a hologram, formally introducing himself to Yuma and Astral. And he reveals what his plan is, what this has all been for. Power. Yeah, he just wants to rule the world.
I agreed to destroy Astral World for the Barians. In exchange, I will receive unimaginable power. Then I can conquer the Earth and rule over it.
Yep, this Barian world we've been hearing about is working with Dr. Faker to destroy Astral World. And Faker is perfectly okay using Heart and Kite to further his own goals.
How could you treat your own kids this way?
Their fate was necessary.
Necessary?
My son's well-being means nothing when compared to the power within my grasp.
Remember that, by the way. Like everything Faker just told us, remember this. Not even for a few videos later, in like 10-20 minutes. With that exposition out the way, Faker rejects Yuma, Bronk, and Tori, and coincidentally, Yuma finds his deck. Forgot that's why we came here. The next day, the top 4 begins, and before Yuma goes out, he's decided that he has his own goals now, and will win this tournament. That will be his first step. So first up is Yuma versus Shark, but immediately Yuma and Astral think something's up, as it's clear Shark isn't himself, dueling angrily, and talking about wanting to beat Yuma and get revenge on Dr. Faker? Huh? Obviously it's Vectrix mind manipulation, and Yuma makes it his goal to help Shark and win the duel. I actually think this duel is pretty good, too bad you'll never see it. And eventually the two are able to help free Shark from the number by bringing it to their side of the field to control the evil. But it's too much for Yuma to handle, and it starts hurting him. But Shark does turn back to normal, and it turns out this was also in Vectrix's plan. He knew Yuma as a friendship weenie and would try something like this, and tell Shark he can save him by beating him. But if he does, Yuma's out of the tournament and Astral will disappear, losing in a number duel. But if Shark loses on purpose and surrenders, then Yuma gets corrupted by the number, and if he destroys the card giving control, then Shark will just be under Vectrix's control again. It's all fucked. But luckily, back during the start of the duel before Shark transitioned to being a full woman, he set a card that allows him to banish the evil number from the field, but losing the duel. Vectrix is not happy that his perfect plan failed, and now is left with nothing since he doesn't have his sons or Shark, who's taken to the hospital to heal, as Yuma is now more determined to beat Vectrix. But he'll have to wait because the next match is Kite versus Vectrix, and Kite is hellbent on making him pay for what he did to Heart. And he still might be doing some stuff to have the upper hand in the duel and to fuck with Kite some more, and Faker I guess. Vectrix removes his mask, revealing Heart's face? Yes, it turns out the ritual he performs somehow soul bonded Vectrix and Heart, and now any damage Vectrix takes is also transferred to Heart. Faker tries to get his staff to Heart, but Vectrix has locked the doors so no one can get in. But Yuma won't stand around and let this happen, and with Orbital 7 he flies to Heart to go protect him so Kite can focus on winning. And long story short, he fights a dragon in Heart's mind and he's safe. I don't think you need any more context to that, and immediately tells Kite this information. And now that Vectrix is no longer connected to Heart, yeah, Kite's no longer going to hold back, especially after the stunt he just pulled. Unfortunately, Kite isn't the protagonist and Vectrix is one of the big bads, and he's got another number to use.
With these 3 monsters, I built the overlay network and exceeds summon number 69, Heraldry Grass!
Oh, really? We gave the crazy, creepy kid the sex number? Just a huge waste, man. Thank God 420 doesn't exist. Hate to see how they fucked that up. Vetrix was able to summon this guy because apparently Number Nice needed anger and hatred to summon it and control it. Which is why he did all this to him, Heart, Dextra, and Shark and all that, so he can have all those negative emotions to use this big beast. And it's too much as Kite and his galaxy eyes fall to Vetrix. Yeah, he loses. And despite his life points falling to 0, Vetrix continues to attack Kite. But nepotism saves the day once again as Heart's weird powers allow him to protect his Nichan. Well, either way, Vetrix wins and absorbs all the numbers Kite had, and vanishes. Yuma returns to Kite, who lies unresponsive, because yeah, besides this, his body was not doing great because of all the photons, and now getting womaned by Vetrix, it's not looking good for him. Because they also imply that Vetrix also took his soul, I guess. I'm gonna be honest, we need to stop talking about souls in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, in this more modern era. Like, in the first 3 seasons it made sense because it was like ancient magic. This is clearly more alien-like shit. I get it, it's a kid's show and they don't want to say dead or nearly dead or even unconscious sometimes, but it's just weird still hearing all this talk of souls with all the no magic happening. Anyway, it's time for the finals as Yuma has to now face Vetrix, but is still apprehensive because of what's happened to everyone. But the number jobbers come to cheer him up and he knows now that he's fighting to protect his friends, so he can't lose. Right before he goes out to duel, his wife Tori hands him duel fuel. Remember that, it's actually important. And with this being the finals, we see all the jobbers from all the one-off episodes in the crowd. Look at all of them. I barely remember any of them. Yuma goes out to the duel field where Vetrix is, and this won't be a normal duel, as they duel inside Faker's special sphere field, which has different rules. It lets them Xyz summon with monsters in their hand, only numbers of course, but when they run out of overlay units, they are destroyed. Before the duel, Vetrix does comment again that Yuma should join him in getting revenge on Faker for what he did to his father. But Yuma says he's not here for revenge, he's gonna save everyone, including Vetrix, like he promised Trey. And he calls out Faker too, saying he's next, he's gonna beat up all these dads, tell him to go get the milk and come back. The two pay little mind to Yuma's comments as the duel begins, and they don't waste time summoning numbers, even new ones.
I summon number 56, Gold Rat, in defense mode! I summon number 30, Acid Golem of Destruction!
The duel is pretty back and forth, but halfway when Vetrix summons the nice number, he decides since after this, he'll get his revenge, so he shows what Faker sacrificing him really did and removes his mask.
Your face.
Yeah, I don't think there's a cream for that. I guess I'd go crazy too if someone messed with the moneymaker. But Yuma doesn't care about that. He cares more that Vetrix still seems to not care that his actions hurt his sons. And he honestly gives one of the best protagonist speeches I've heard so far. Honestly, I hope I can show all of it.
Still, there's one thing I don't get. Why they threw everything away for someone who's nothing. You think they owed you their lives because they're your kids, but you're wrong. They had complete faith in you. They hoped you'd become a regular dad again someday. When you came back, why couldn't you do that for them? Why couldn't you try to be a father instead of just trying to get revenge?
It is impossible for a child like you to understand!
I do understand. I understand exactly what it feels like to lose a father. And I guarantee that's the feeling your sons had when you went away. But the sad truth is, you just didn't care, did you?
Be quiet! How dare you talk to me that way?
Well, I care about this duel, Vetrix. And I'm gonna fight for Quattro and Trey and Quentin. You throw whatever you got at me, but I'm never gonna quit on them.
With this determination, Yuma and Astral combine with the power of Zexel, going Super Saiyan. This being the first time anyone besides Kite has seen this. So using cheats like Shining Draw, the real duel begins, so Yuma can save Vetrix from himself. But the duel is so intense that near the end, Yuma stops because he gets hungry. Luckily, his wife made him some dinner, which energizes him, and even Astral somehow, allowing him to continue to focus. Like I'm telling you man, Tori's the best main girl. Like stuff she does actually matters. She's not just sitting on the sidelines being a cheerleader. She does things that are useful. I'm just saying you should enjoy the heroine being an actual asset to anything happening. It's not a spoiler to anything going on later. I mean, that is, but well, a combination of wife and Heart of the Shining card draw and OP anime cards, he does it. He beat Vetrix, hooray. Well, it would be happy, but he only beat one evil dad. There's one more, whose plans are thriving. Because after he wins, suddenly all of Yuma and Vetrix's numbers go flying from them, being absorbed by the sphere. As the tower they are dueling on, there's a lot of towers in this show, I'm noticing, starts to explode. And Shark sees this from the hospital and runs to go help Yuma. And now that Vectrix has been beat, Faker's gonna make sure he disappears for good this time. But Yuma grabs him, saving him. And Vectrix comments Kazuma saved him like this a long time ago. I feel like I've been switching between Kazuma and Kazuma throughout this video. Maybe, I don't know. But they start to slip and Vectrix says to just let him go after all he's done. But Yuma says no, they are Nakama, because they dueled once. He don't abandon Nakama. Inspired by Yuma's friendship, Vectrix releases all the souls he captured, including Dextra, Heart, and Kite, who all wake up. And now that he righted some of his wrongs, Vectrix lets go, falling into the abyss. But at the same time, 3 spheres emerge from him, and Trey, Quentin, and Quattro all wake up too. Wait, did he put them to sleep? You are a shitty father. Yuma recovers, but things aren't looking good, as Faker appears, saying it's time to start the endgame, the total destruction of Astral World. And now here it is, folks, the finale, the last 5 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal Part I. Faker says the sphere field absorbed all the numbers collected, knowing the top 2 of the tournament would have them all. He expected Kite to be one of them, but the result was the same either way. He then says his plan is to use all the numbers to power the Eclipse Cannon, the sphere field cannon, to shoot a big burst of energy at Astral World, destroying it, and using Heart and his powers as a conduit. Kite is woken up, immediately goes to Heart, but finds that he's gone, and Orbital detects that he's at the bottom of Heartland Tower, which is where Yuma was transported. But the thing is still crumbling, and Kite gets trapped under a boulder. Orbital can't lift it himself, but luckily Tori and Shark show up, saving him. Shark says he's here to help Yuma, which surprises them. Tori's here because, again, wherever Yuma goes, she's there. And Kite was just going to leave them, but remembering how Yuma helped Heart, he goes off on his own, but doesn't mind them following him. And they make it to the garbage area where Heart usually is, and Yuma, still trapped in the sphere field, seems to be getting hurt due to all the science stuff going on. That's when Mr. Heartland shows up, sicking litter bots on them. And there's too many, as Kite has Orbital 7 essentially sacrifice himself by shorting out all the machinery in the room and stopping the bots, which causes Heartland's floating platform to fall into the portal that was going to be used to fire at Astral World. Well, F's to him. Then to help Yuma, Astral decides to end the Zexal fusion, telling Yuma to save Heart and Astral World as he hands him Utopia and Shark's number 32. Then Faker shows up for real and needs those numbers, so a duel commences. Faker versus Yuma, Shark, and Kite.
What's happening to him?
What, you're expecting me to react to that? It's Series 4, guys. This is not the weirdest thing we've seen a villain turn into in Yu-Gi-Oh! The 3 work together fine, obviously not completely meshing, since Kite and Shark don't like each other, and Kite only cares about his brother. Also, Shark earlier was injured by a trash bot, and Kite's body has still not recovered from the photon energy, so really only Yuma is operating normally, but he doesn't have Astral, so. They might need help when Faker summons his own unique number.
I'm going to unleash a force greater than anything you've ever faced. It will bring a whirlwind of agony and destruction. Maxx C summon number 53! Harder!
And even upgrades it.
I told you it would be impossible to defeat a genius like me, especially now that I have this! Fix your fearful eyes on Heart Earth's true form! Number 92, Heart Earth Dragon!
Causing all of them to fall to 100 life points. But none of them are going to give up. They're here to say the future is now, old man, and they're going to high-five the sky with hope and friendship. Suck it. And by teaming up and summoning their upgraded boss monsters, they beat Faker's super powerful number. Kite tells him to give up, but Faker says Kite should be helping him, because really, he's doing all of this to save Heart.
I can't! You think you're helping Heart, but you're only putting him in greater danger! Because your brother cannot hope to survive unless Astral World is destroyed once and for all!
What a load. Yeah, according to Faker, the only way Heart can live, because he's vaguely sick, they don't explain what is wrong with him, but in order to save him, Astral World has to die. Where the fuck did this come from? Like, yeah, they hinted at that Faker was worried for Heart and stuff, but then what about that exchange with Yuma he had a couple episodes ago where he's like, yeah, fuck my sons, who cares? I'm here for power, world domination. Like, what was he lying? What would he have a reason to lie? Who gives a shit? No, in actuality, I think this was just, again, the writers ping-ponging between what they wanted his motivation to be. It's like, oh, is he a generic evil guy, or is he actual good father who's just misguided? And that's what they ended up on, I guess. I don't know, I think it's a weird way to kind of try to redeem him at the end, too, for no reason. Like, yeah, I did all the shitty things, but it was for my son who's dying. It's Yu-Gi-Oh, man. Everyone's gonna be friends at the end of the day. Like, why are we doing this? Murky motivations aside, we do learn that Baryon World is actually one of the reasons Heart has been staying alive, for now anyway. Because Faker reveals after he sacrificed Kazuma and Byron, he went to Baryon World, and he met a being there that offers him the power to let Heart survive, in exchange, destroy Astral World by gathering the number cards. Okay, that's another thing that's kind of vaguely confusing. It's implied that the numbers were created when Yuma released Astral from the key thing, but now, I guess pretty much since we've seen Kite and everything, the numbers have apparently been around for years, like a long time. I'm just saying, again, it just seems like they're really flip-flopping with the origins of numbers in Astral. Kite wants to know why he was never told this, and Faker said he knew Kite would be a tough guy and do everything himself. But Kite doesn't buy it, saying he should have trusted his own family. And he says unlike him, he'll protect Heart no matter what with his own power. And Yuma agrees he will help, and Shark also agrees, saying he's got nothing better to do. And this friendship is enough to get Faker to see the light and give up his plan and trust in these children to save his kid. Until...
Dr. Faker, since you failed me, I will have to complete what you began. You three believe you can defeat me? Then I will give you the chance to prove it. This duel is far from over.
What do you mean? Who are you?
I am from Baryon World.
And with Faker's big monster back and Shark and Kite's conditions worsening, not looking good as the Baryon is about to win and destroy them all and Astral World. But seeing them at the brink, Heart's powers activate and lowers the sphere field, allowing Yuma to get to Astral, letting them fuse into Super Saiyan form again. And thanks to friendship and anime cards, once again the day is saved. Heart is free and the Baryon gets kicked back to space. But the machinery goes haywire as the place starts crumbling. Luckily, Orbital 7 has recovered mostly, allowing him to grab Tori, Heart, and an injured Shark. But then Faker falls down the collapsing area and Kite goes to save him. Then he falls, so Yuma stays behind to save him. Seeing this, Faker is reminded of Kazuma, seeing Yuma try to save him. And like Vectrex, he thinks he should just die for all the evil things he's done. And Vectrex agrees, who shows up. He's back somehow with his powers. Faker's fine with Vectrex ending him as long as he leaves Yuma and Kite alone. And suddenly, they're all outside with Tori, Shark, Kite, and Orbital. Yeah, it seems Vectrex found some forgiveness, saving them all. Faker's surprised and overwhelmed by this. And finally, for reals, the day is saved. Shark goes back to the hospital courtesy of Nistro and Dextra, who I guess, since Heartland's gone, they're out of a job. That sucks. This economy, or my children's card games, they'll never survive. And that's it. It's over. Almost. Yuma's not done, because he did win the Duel Carnival, and he's supposed to get one wish. And his wish is to duel Kite, who accepts. Now here it is, the true finale of Zexal Origins, the last duel, Yuma versus Kite. Sometime later, Yuma and his friends are waiting for Kite to arrive, and even Nistro and Dextra show up to see how this will go. And finally Kite shows up, and wasting no time, they begin their duel. But before it starts, Tori makes an interesting comment.
That goes for you too, Astral! Stop looking so gloomy!
Huh? Well, he always looks like that. Well, wait! You can see Astral now?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I just can't!
Yeah, the explanation for this is that when the Baryon showed up, all the energy and friendship and stuff made it so Tori can see Astral now, and I guess it also implies Kite and Shark can too. Sure. The duel starts and Yuma immediately starts feeling the flow. He's getting set to get decked, comboing off. Kite still outplays him though. However, he's not that into it, and he says, actually, I have no interest in high-fiving the sky, sir. Because this whole time, Kite has dueled to save Heart, but he's fine now. And I mean that. After beating the Baryon, Heart's just good. He's better now. They don't have to worry about him. He's not dying anymore. He's just good. His fake anime disease is cured. So Kite's not really motivated in this duel because it's always been a job, crush your enemies. But Yuma says he's going to show Kite with this duel, dueling is meant to be fun and let you connect with others, making friends. And after Yuma attacks Kite with Utopia, he's so unmotivated, realizing he can't duel them, he's about to surrender. But Astral talks with Kite, telling him how all this friendship stuff helped him too. So Kite should embrace bonds to help him move forward and forget how he was in the past, and forge a new way towards the future. So Kite decides to continue the duel, saying if dueling can open up a path of endless possibilities, and why the hell not. We even see the Arclights watching this duel briefly before leaving, thanking Yuma for helping them. So Kite turns it up, managing now to match Yuma move for move, but Yuma won't stay down, summoning many of the monsters he's gotten through his journey. And does so well by himself, Astral noticing that Yuma for a while, during the duel, acts on his own without his advice, and doing pretty well. He's come far since their first duel together against Shark. But it's not enough, because Kite summons both his dragons and manages to win the duel, keeping his 100% win rate against Yuma. Well, the first duel they didn't finish, and the second was a draw, so I guess it's still 100% win rate. Kite helps him back up, but Yuma isn't disappointed, saying he'll win the next time they duel. Kite leaves saying, yeah, if he gets better, and smiles, flying off with Orbital. And the season and first arc ends with Yuma collapsing and falling asleep, exhausted from the duel.
Observation number 20. Even in a duel lost, can a friendship be found?
Yeah, it's kind of a mess, isn't it? I mean, like I said, I do like where they end up, but man, do they just really like making up this shit, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me in the writer's room they just had madlibbed, and that's how they came up with everything. It would make sense why they just clearly forgot stuff they wrote before. What happened to Yuma's mom? And I know it can be annoying for some people with all these twists, contradictions, and very, very vague phrasing and explanation on what things are. That part probably gets to me most. I still don't mind it, you know? Where they end up with it so far is fine. I like it. So who cares? Like, if it was bad or boring, then I'd be upset about this, but I don't really have any complaints. The duels are entertaining, story's fine, I like the characters. Besides the occasional bad animation, what seems to be happening more than usual in this series, I think Zexel's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. Unfortunately, we have reached the point where most Yu-Gi-Oh! Series start falling off. The halfway point. Well, besides GX, that was doomed from the start. But join me next time, Number Hunters, as we begin Zexal 2 and prepare for the invasion. The invasion of the Baryons. Ooh, scary.
Yuma, Tsukumo, and Astral. They were stronger than I expected. We have no choice but to defeat them ourselves.